Hello, everyone. This is your host, Akil Jabbar, and welcome back to another episode of SaaS District. In today's episode, we'll be talking about how to maintain the balance between being system-relevant versus human-centric as an entrepreneur. Today, we have our guest, Michaell Magrutsche, joining us.
Michaell
Magrutsche. Today, we have our guest, Michaell Magrutsche, joining us. Thank you. Michaell's the Creativity-Awareness Educator at michaelm.com. He holds the role of a wisdom art awareness coach and also hosts his own podcast show called the Smart of Art podcast. Michaell showcases a unique blend of talents and expertise and advocates for unlocking individual potential, which we'll talk about today. His transformative journey from feeling like an outcast to embracing humanity defines his commitment. He's written 6 books, including The Smart of Art, and he'll be sharing keys to a 60% more fulfilled life, navigating complexities, and a balanced human-centric and system-relevant perspective. So welcome, Michaell. I'm super excited to have you on the show today.
So if any of your listener isn't confused yet, we make sense out of all this. This sounds very brainy, but it is actually not brainy. It's very simple. I don't function with knowledge. I have no education. I'm totally self-taught. Because I'm neurodiverse and dyslexic with dysgraphia, I can only comprehend common sense. So if you come with vernacular, and the only vernaculars I use is system-relevant versus human-centricity or human-centric, because that's what I suffered with from when I was a little kid. I was a sick child, went to school with 7, hit totally the wall, couldn't read, stuttered. And then art creation was my savior, because in art creation, you don't care about, what degrees you have. You just need to contribute to the product. Mm-hmm. And then I had to repeat, I have 8 years of school, and probably 2 or 3, I repeated the grade because I couldn't get on. So it wasn't for me to be lazy or anything. I just couldn't be system relevant because I'm functioning differently. Yeah. And I was very self-shaming my whole life, which everybody is, that I'm not good enough, that it's never good enough. Whatever I do, I hit the quarter, I need to do a better quarter next to it. So I suffered very much from that, especially because I had nothing to show for it, like a degree or anything. Mm. And that forced me to be into more in the art creation. And then I discovered, at 30, that all my jobs were creative, even though I wasn't the established artist with 30. Mm-hmm. But I said, I couldn't do anything else. That's what I am. I couldn't be an accountant, Yeah. So I think that was a major choice. That was a major choice to say that, because I wasn't saying, because I've talked to very many artists, the established and everything, and everybody kind of feels still guilty calling themselves artists. There's very few. They live the artist lifestyle, but they still, because they all focus on the product. And I think that's what we do in life too. It's always show me the product, show me the success, show me the likes. And it can't be like that, because when we are all contributing to one thing. We are all in this together. Mm. You cannot segregate yourself as Elon and move to Mars. You're still going to feel the suffering that humans do. Because look at alone, you gauge alone yourself, feel it out. You go into and I'm not religious, but you go into a church or a synagogue, a mosque, and then you go to a government agency. There is a different feel to it. One is human-centric and one is system-relevant. So you feel that it makes the people different too. And sometimes you feel a very happy person in a system office, but mostly not. And in general, you find pleasant people that work in a religious environment, and their exceptions are the weird ones. But so I hit the wall till I was 50.
Yeah.
Because and I was successful. So I thought, oh my God, if I get the cover of this magazine. So first of all, I won the magazine in a competition, and I didn't feel different. And this was the wake up call, and then I got the cover of the magazine, which was the biggest circulation around Christmas. Nothing. And I found it was very good what I created, but the success of it didn't do anything because it was understood, like a lot of people of us, we understand that success is a normal thing. It's not the abnormal thing. But because success is dependent on system relevance, it's twisted. It's very twisted. And then that's why millionaires, commit suicide. This is why when you get that girlfriend, it's not going to change your life. It's just a thing of misunderstanding. And I found that we misunderstand system relevance and human centricity. So we start talking on a system relevant topic, and then that goes somewhere, derails somewhere, because I'm fighting that I'm better than you fight you are better, or I'm more an authority than you. Mm-hmm. And what happens then? I go into personal attacks, and then I go human-centric. Then I go into my defense mode. And that you see that in politics all the time. They're talking about systemic stuff, and then they go in personal attacks. Mm-hmm. And this mixture, if you want to get something done in systems, you can never use, human-centric tactics to get what you want, because you're talking about a system thing. But in order to keep a team, the team, you got to be human-centric. Like a leader is supposed to be the most self-aware person.
Agreed.
Because he is the one that juggles the plates. Mm-hmm. He's the one that juggles it. And you cannot say, oh, I'm going to like the red plate, but I don't like the white plate. You have to juggle all. It's about juggling all the plates. And that's what a leader is. Nobody does that. Nobody looks at that ever. Everybody thinks, I have my favorites, human-centrically, my favorites, these guys, these girls. Mm-hmm. And then I do what with those people, even though it would be the worst for the system, I'm trying to be successful. And that doesn't usually work, because you got to elevate as a leader. You got to see that everybody can contribute. And you got to see the strength.
You dropped a lot of chill. I want to jump in and make a few comments. Jump in. A couple of things you mentioned, and then some follow up questions. So I'll start off with the key term which you mentioned, which is artist, and which you often talk about. But just to be clear here, because we have entrepreneurs on the show, entrepreneurs are artists. We go out and build in different forms. Just to be clear, we are creating products. We're getting tech products through code, through financial models, through spreadsheets, through other forms, through our computers. And that is our form of expression. I guess I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, that's your artistry. That's your artistry.
Exactly. For me, it's business. It's me finding businesses, growing them. That's my art. I paint through helping businesses grow. So there's different forms of expression, which you talk about speech being one, which you're maybe, less inclined with, and move towards, painting. But I think in all of that, what it really is trying to find your freedom to express what you're essentially feeling, and you can do that through different forms, right? So which we talk about, but
perfect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then there's also the system versus team, being centric as a leader of your company, right? And one thing maybe I struggle with, and I've heard as well, which is how do you find that balance with your team and employees? Because there's always a struggle of, this is a relationship. These people work for me. They're my employees, and I have to treat them in this. We have this balance and dynamic and social status that we have to adhere to. But then there's also, these are employees. They're humans. And then there's a mix of, do you mix in friendship and care and, thinking outside of the system and how you treat your employees, and what is the right balance of how you would approach that? I guess I would ask you, and how do you look at that question?
It's the vision. The vision helps you in this. And I see the biggest problem with all the companies and politicians that advice is they have no vision. They have no clear vision. When I'm sitting together, Akil, my vision is to make the best podcast dance right now. That is my vision. It's not that I'm going to have the most viewers and drop the F-bomb or something. But my thing is to make the best podcast that you and I, the best dance that we can. I'm showing up 100%. I'm not reading a comics right while I'm talking to you. So the vision has to be clear. What do we want? As a company, or an extension of myself. So if I create a company, I need to be very self-aware and say, how can my essence, I'm one of 8 billion people that is unique. And this is where also businesses think, oh, I need to be in tech business because there I can make the most money. That is the wrong human-centric thought. Because you are one of one. You're not like others. There are similarities, but you're not like others. So if you build a company or business, it has to be an expression of you. If it is not, and you say, okay, we're making a lot of money, that's why usually the vision goes sideways. The team is in the way how you interact, to be human-centric. But I can be human-centric with you right now if I say, hey, why are you whistling, Akil? Why are you whistling right now? Our vision is to make a great podcast, So I have no problem calling you on it because I'm referring to our vision. That you agreed, it's like a committal contract, a verbal contract. Correct. That we say we're going to work for that vision. And when you think of it like this, but how I treat you, I don't say, hey, you a-hole, you whistling. I'm saying, hey, we have a vision, and go. So it's not personally. I don't feel personally disrespected because you're whistling. I'm guiding you and say, hey, our vision is to make the best podcast possible, wherever this leads us,
Makes sense. And, I want to reverse back a little bit before we get more into the, how we can develop this skill as a leader. But, first, maybe there's, as an entrepreneur, chasing money right now, and that's your main goal and vision is growing this business, and your main KPI and success, let's say, is, the metrics of the company, of the system. What would you say to folks like that who are listening and they want to use the creation of art as a form to develop their self-awareness, maybe helping them find themselves? Or what are some other forms of expression that they can do that maybe are often overlooked? Like I mentioned, coding as one, through a spreadsheet or, that's through a computer, but maybe outside of a computer or on a computer, that you find will be helpful, that they can try to, find that self-awareness.
Those are skills you mentioned. Those are not, there's a skill like, learn. Yeah. So, tell me the question again, because I want to make sure I give you the right answer.
So whether I'm choosing to paint on a piece of paper or I'm choosing to write a code, right? That's a skill, right? That's what it's saying. But there's a ritual through that expression of art that helps you discover yourself, right? Is what
but also through coding. Mathematics, you understand it's a dance. It's a song. It's learning the intimacy of processes in coding and mathematics. So both, absolutely both. Because if I don't know how to mix a color, you start something, and then sooner or later you learn mix a color. And in my perspective, I can mix any color that I want with 3 colors. And that I didn't learn because I don't have education. So I by doing, you learn. And you become aware, and you become intimate with your expression, basically your contribution. I said, 8, you are one single person with your own DNA, own fingerprints, and own eyes, and with your own perspective on life, because you know that from your siblings. They have different viewpoints on life. And you contribute to the human weave with coding, with being a janitor, with being, and you got to find in that work, being an artist. Art is just makes it very easy to find yourself because it's not defined. It's not defined on coding, on something established, because art wants to just be created. And that it's a gift that we got with us. Everybody's an artist, a coder as well as me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. To express yourself, to contribute to humanity, not to you and get money, but you contribute to the world, to the human weave with your uniqueness. And everybody, like you, me, everybody else that is a part of that, that you don't understand them or I don't understand them, that we don't like them, has no bearing on anything. But the knowing that every human is very necessary, because otherwise nature wouldn't have created you. If you think you're the worst nerd and you can just play video games and code, that doesn't mean you're a loser. That there's a reason why that is. And because we don't know the reason, I can't call you a loser.
Right, exactly.
And there you have to see human-centric. The human-centricity gives you the system. And do you see how I approach the questions that you give me? I don't even know the answer. I'm just looking, how is that in nature? How is that with humans? And then the systemic answer resolves itself. So always the human centricity, because we created all those man-made systems, computers and everything. It needs to be always human-centric. That you look at any system problem, once you have the human centricity of a system problem, and say, why is that not working? Is that even required? Because often a system problem, we go so much in the system culture relevance that we lose the connection to why do we do this in the first place? The why. We're losing the why, you know? Mm-hmm. And we get so into, I could solve this either. How many people need this function? 2 people. Now, is it worth to have a whole research team going into that direction? No. Yeah. Because there's not that it's not counting, because every human counts, but is there no priority that we have more? For example, feeding the world. Is there not a priority that's more human-centric than making sure that my app functions on 99% of the people?
Though there is a balance of, we talk about, we'd love to be, expressing through, say, video games and coding. And let's say we're an artist in that expression. We love it. We're getting our passion and joy from it, but we're not producing external results, meaning, resources, meaning dollars, right? And dollars is how we treat our own sense of success in this world, right? In some way. But in one sense, I think that what I see is that we still need to survive. We still need to pay our bills. We still need to pay our rent. We still need to eat. But maybe the line of what safe and secure financially means has been
blurred.
Right?
Yeah.
Blurred. Exactly. So how do you find the balance of like, okay, this is in the mind, right? Because this is where you get stuck, and people maybe build their first business because they're looking for a source of income to provide. And then they get caught in that system of, growth. And then, it doesn't matter if they're making millions of in revenue, they're still caught up in that growth and still feeling in the mode of survival, regardless of it's not the dollar amount, because it's still in their mind. But how do you shift out of that and maybe find inspiration? I think sometimes you get stuck in as an entrepreneur and artist where you're stuck in your thoughts. You can't find solutions. You're stuck in your patterns of what you're continuing to do in your system. But sometimes stepping out of that and finding inspiration externally, I think, helps with that. What are ways you find that helps you get inspired or in your work and get unstuck from the way you're thinking and maybe come back and be more human-centric in your work?
A question on you before, while I'm answering this. How do you think Elon Musk gets inspired? Because he's in the same situation as you. We are all in the same. This is it's never enough. Tomorrow it needs to be more. And the pressure that we create more in the new. And we're all in that together. So you got to come into the moment. You cannot live a life by mind constructs with goals. You can say, I want to create the app that allows us to understand the universe. Let's say that, right? But you don't put a time frame on it. You don't say, I need to do this in 2 months. When you put time into your vision, you destroy the creative process.
So say that again. You put time into your vision.
In a vision. So you in a goal and a vision. If you put a time constraint in, that could say it sometimes helps when you say because you can get lost. It's you said the word balance is everything. When you say I want to get this app to understand the universe, and it's easy to get if the funding is here, especially to get complacent. So money is not only a bad thing. Sometimes something is a good thing because it makes you, for example, money shows you also that money is not necessary because otherwise there wouldn't never be inventors or people that from scratch from one day to another get rich. I just read that today. It's a gross payment, but some girl farted in jars and made $250,000. I'm just saying,
Yeah, sure.
So if that's her passion and that's what she has to do, that's her expression or whatever, and she's happy with that, then she should do that without us judging or anything. Because you tell me a job that gives you 250 right away. None. It's not available. Also, we are lying. We are pretending. That's why I say pull out of the system relevance and start seeing life human-centrically, that everybody is unique. Everybody needs to express themselves because you came here to be physical, to find how your energy, your awareness expresses itself physically. And that's why you came, but that's why you live life. You live life to find how you manifest yourself into the physical and learn in the feedback loop is you learn more of who you are. It's very simple. It's not.
When did we lose? When did we become unaware? Why are we unaware about our, these biggest human stressors? And, you mentioned about that pressure. Is that we feel internally that it's never enough? That tomorrow we want more. Tomorrow it's going to be better.
System-Relevant.
Is it? But is that externally placed on us? And I'm assuming. And if so, from where? Right? Is this social media? Is this?
No, it's not. There's nobody to blame. No, we do it to ourselves. It's all system relevance. Look at any problem, and I'll tell you the system relevant thing. Over generations, look. Let's go back. I call ourselves, we're one of one, I told you, of 8 billion. And we are collective creator animals of nature, meaning the ant makes an anthill and we create New York, Singapore, Google, Nike, whatever. We are a creative, we can create our own habitats. We can create Disneyland, or we can create a skyscraper, or we can create the new Google headquarters. We can create our habitats to our, or the line in Dubai right now, what they build. It's just we can create our own habitats and experience if that's what we want or not. And we expand from that creation. That's why we go into AI. We need to create, expand, and in that own creation, we experience our expansion as human beings. And sometimes we say, no, we don't want that. That's when a product, for example, that everybody is crazy, and then in a month it goes down. That's not it. We want something else, more human-centric. And then there's very space. I mean, with the glasses, the video glasses, the metaverse, those things are. We don't even know the systemic. We are not even systemically relevant navigators, and we're already creating another system like the metaverse or the virtual world, where we're even more out of our senses. And the thing is, we need to have our senses, because the fact that you and I talk and can talk like this without knowing each other is because we don't even have video. We have 6 senses, and we hook into each other. So we can actually have by nature can communicate with every human being on this world, especially, and if we need to do something special, we have art. Because if you and I start singing right now, not many people would like it, but people will understand if we sing a sad song or a happy song.
Yeah.
And that's so we have all the tools to communicate with each other. And also, in more refined communication, prelingual, we have art, because if I draw a line, you understand that line, or if, as long as you can see, right? And so we have that. So bring me back to the question. Bring me back to the
yeah. So the question was, why are we unaware in the first place, and then how do you conditioning? So yeah, where does the conditioning come from? Was it externally?
The conditioning over generations that. First, it was great to have systems, right? And they were very primitive systems. They mean that it was all about quantity, all scaling, right? So, a man could do one bomb, a team, and now you have a conveyor belt. You can do many bombs and you can many Ford T models. And that was so exciting that people didn't even care about themselves, because that's our passion is to create. That's why the CEO in the corner office, what does he do on the weekend? He's going tinkering on his car or in the garden, where he could afford these people to do that. But you need that. We need that human-centricity. We need to have that human interaction.
So it seems like we have to ground ourselves, right? In some
we have to ground, and that's the problem. So before, people were grounded, but they weren't so much into creation. They were just doing the jobs of the day. Now we get in the power over generations of, we are creative. We created cars. Look what we created. We only see that from hindsight. Look at what cars we created in the 50s and so on, Mm-hmm. And when we look back, we say, oh my God, when I go in a museum, I always thought, why is it when you go in the British Museum or something, and it's so, you're not even interested in antiques, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But your jaw drops open. Mm-hmm. And I started museums with my work and stuff. And I thought, I got it. One day I got it, because I felt that in certain museums. And I said, it's especially in natural history or, history museums, where you like the Smithsonian. You're going there, and it's overwhelming. It overwhelms you with your humanity, because all of a sudden you see, oh my God, all these possibilities that humans created, and you're just flabbergasted. And there is a knowing of you that you were a part of that species that created that. Mm. So that's always when people say, "Oh, Apple is great," I said, "No, you're a part of Apple." Yeah. You are a part. When you admire something, you always need to include yourself, because what your higher self wants to tell you is, or your spirit is, you are amazed by Google, you're amazed by Apple, you're amazed by this new building, and you need to recognize it's part of you, that your species created that. And your species is not a woman, a man, a race. Your species is humanity.
It's humanity. And what you're describing is exactly what I was saying, around inspiration. So it sounds like, going through a history museum, going out to nature, going to travel and seeing new buildings and new cultures and new types of things. You realize, wow, a human created this thing, because we're so stuck in what we have around us that's already created that we forget that we can create more.
100%. 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the motivation is, see, if I am having a passion for coding, it's the same as if I have passion for painting. But when my passion for painting resides, I'm doing something else as an artist. And a coder is so locked into the system relevance, they can't. And that's the sad thing. See, that's what we need to be aware of, that at the moment the passion is gone, you working self-destructively. It doesn't matter how much money you get. Yeah. And that's why then when you keep going the same route and you get more money but less joy doing it, that you want the reward, having the fame and the money, and then you destroy yourself. It's a self-destructive. Makes sense. Because I bet you Elon has never that passion now that he had before. Yeah, because he's unaware of things. When you start building something, and for example, I paint a little bit, but I do everything on digital. But I had to give away, because I moved and stuff. I had to give away all my canvases. I gave away 75 of my paintings to friends. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was, first of all, very freeing to do the new, mm-hmm. to not relying, you have your paint brushes and an easel and just push paint. Mm-hmm. But I also realized that, and what this opened up for me is my writing. Mm-hmm. I had to express myself, and this is why it's so important. Every human is unique, and every human believes they're special, and they are by nature special. But that mm-hmm. doesn't mean they're system relevant. And that's why I say to find your business, to find your passion is to find how you are relevant, human-centrically relevant to another human or other humans. Mm-hmm. And when you see that, when you help a friend out because he one of his employees didn't show up, and you help him out in a restaurant, and then you see, oh my God, I had so much fun. I worked 12 hours in that restaurant. I had so much fun. You got to give it a look. Because restaurants are human-centric, and that's why I say it's so. Then coding, because it doesn't matter if you make 10 times as much money in coding. What you can't pay is time. You can't buy time back, and and it's all about fulfillment. And why is it about fulfillment? Because fulfillment is your emotional feedback loop for you, the one of one, that you, the one of one, are on the right path.
So you're just
I'm doing podcasts because I'm fulfilled. And so you're doing a podcast because you're fulfilled while you're doing it. There's nothing like this. You can pay for this feeling that you and I have now.
That's true. Very, very
it's magic. I would never listen to my other podcasts. I talk totally different. Every podcast person is different. And we couldn't repeat this podcast. We couldn't repeat. If we wanted, we couldn't repeat this podcast. The energy, the pauses, anything, the words, the way it words with, it's magic.
That's true. I mean, we may be able to reproduce the words if we just, download it, record it. Well, it's recorded, so we can listen to it and memorize it. But then it doesn't have the same energy, right? It's not the same.
No, there's nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why we think chase fulfillment versus success and goals. I don't have any goals. The goals show up. The goals say, hey, do you want to be, for example, I'm invited to a conference in January. And just showed up. I didn't apply to it. I didn't say I want to be speaker. It just showed up. Because but I'm very diligent of finding more of who I am. I'm very diligent.
So you look what kind of calls your attention. Says, look, will I get fulfillment from me as for myself by going to this event? Even if I don't know what it's about, but is it calling my attention that I think that I will be able to grow from this, right?
Yeah, and you can analyze even that. You go to this event for your ego or that you're not lonely, which is okay to say. If you say, hey, I want to see what I can do with my personality and blow this event up. Or you could say, otherwise I'm sitting at home at Thanksgiving. I'm going to go to this event so I'm not lonely. And lonely is a system-relevant emotion too, because you're never alone. You can, if you go in a wood cabin, you're sitting in a wood cabin without an animal or anything, you talk to yourself. We are such social animals, and this makes the point of all the things that I told you before. We're such a social animal that we can't even be alone. The thing of we can feel lonely, but we cannot be alone because we talk to ourselves.
Yeah.
So
yeah. If you're with yourself, that's the only thing you need.
And do you see how much is in human-centricity? Do you see? Because I'm preaching what I live. Mm-hmm. Do you see how I give you answers that even I don't know what comes out? But by thinking how humans and the answers come right, nobody can throw me a question that I can't answer. And systemically, perhaps, tell me how to code this to that. I couldn't do that. But if any human-centric, and even a lot of system problems, I can tell you what is what's the problem, the human-centric problem of it, and why it is. For example,
it's everybody.
Go ahead.
Do you think everybody should shift towards that being that human-centric brand in terms of how they position themselves in their professional world, let's use that. And, if you would say, yes, what would you say is your human-centric brand? Let's say specifically for a professional world, just so it's easy for people to relate to, maybe.
Okay. So number one, you need to be self-aware. Anybody, if you want to be on this planet, if you're not self-aware, if you don't think that people that are successful are not self-aware, you are in a delusion. Mm-hmm. People are self-aware of what they need. They might not be self-aware about everything. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that Elon was self-aware that because he's neurodiverse like I am, that he created his own system in systems, and the system-relevant people were laughing at him and says, "Oh, electric cars, bullshit," Mm-hmm. And then he goes to NASA and says, "I want like a rocket." Okay, do it. Mm-hmm. Nobody would ever ask NASA to say, but this was his survival. That was his relevance. How? Because we strive to be relevant, contributing with our unique vibration to the whole. Mm-hmm. And you got to be very clear on what you want to be. There is no such thing as, I want to be a stock trader. Mm-hmm. Or, for example, when people say, for me, it's all about money, which is the greatest thing. Money is the best invention of the wheel and the fire, mm-hmm. because it represents our uniqueness in the thing of the whole. Mm-hmm. So, our contribution, the money shows that. Only it has lost that because now it becomes a skill. Mm. Money has lost completely the representation of who you are. That's why when you look at 80s movies and 90s movies, I don't know when you're born, but the people have, and I experienced it, way more fun with money than now. Being rich today is a stress, a hustle like anything else. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm saying the system problem with it's never enough and not rewarding when it's never rewarding enoughness, mm-hmm. makes the beggar and the billionaire, puts them in the same position. Mm-hmm. They both worry about money. Mm-hmm. And when a system actually programs, conditions you that the richest person, most system relevant and the least system relevant person have the same problem, have the same issue that they contemplate.
A source of suffering, sure, is the same, yeah.
It's what the purpose of life is thinking about money. Please tell me who said that. Who does that? Who would say, yeah, the sense of life is about contemplating about money? But it comes to that because we are conditioned for generation. There's a lack. There's always a lack. Always more.
Exactly.
We're throwing half of the food away. We may produce more and more and more. We have so many. See, that's another thing I would ask myself. You said when I go into the business world, we have so many. Products and services. If let's say you were the best person with me for a business, mm-hmm. and to know each other is already very randomly. Mm-hmm. And now I'm saying I'm believing you and say, Michaell, can I give you my latest book or my latest thing? Can you watch the latest episode? So okay. I will, because I had a real good talk to you, I will say, okay, I'm going to watch that. And then you say, hey, Michaell, and you want to get me into the sales funnel, right? You got to get me a book. You get me something. I don't have so many books that I have for free. I don't have the time. See, time time is what you can't buy back. Mm-hmm. That you have to be so overwhelmingly good, a good fit for me, that I actually say, screw everything else. I'm going to listen to Akil's TV show, whatever he gave me for free. Right. And then I still have not the time that I have to make a decision to work with you or not, or to buy more from you. Mm-hmm. And this is what we've all fight currently. It is an overabundance on thing, and there's no AI that helps you even sort that out. It can't, because it doesn't know you. AI is always a generalization of something.
Exactly. And that's where the self-awareness is more powerful than the AI, right?
Because self-awareness is super, a wonderful That quote should be framed.
Self-awareness is more powerful.
Yeah, because you can't even say, I want to get you if you're not self-aware.
I agree. I completely agree. The intuition is more powerful than any AI we can build.
Absolutely. So. And this quote alone is worth $1 million.
That came after years of contemplation to get to that one phrase, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
I know, but
people still won't get it, right?
Did you see the effect? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know if people will take it and do anything with it, but that's why I don't.
No. But it helps humanity understand. What you give is awareness. That's all what I do. I give awareness. I'm not telling you what to do. There's no three-step. I say contemplate that, and if it works, if you say, look, success, fame, money is a symptom of you being in your essence. That's it. And you can do it as a skill. That's the problem. That's where it gets distorted. When your manipulation of the money market becomes a skill and has nothing to do if that's your passion or not.
Yeah.
And this is where it's distorted. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it now. Yeah.
And the thing is, there was something that just escaped me. What was it? If money, this is what I want to tell you, because if you say, I love money, and I'm going to do this bicycle factory for, I'm going to make the best bicycle in the world or whatever. Millions of people have tried. So, but perhaps yours is better. It's just market share is very small. Yeah. But you think, so, and I'm asking you, I said, why do you want the best? Because I want to make money, and I believe that I can make a ton of money making the best bike, and I can sell out the know-how afterwards and all this. And I said, if money is the most important to you, and fame, that you're the best bicycle, why don't you become a banker? Why don't you? Why would you go around the thing? Play with money. If you love money, then become a venture capitalist, become a hedge fund guy, become a banker. Then, No, but because it's why would you do a horse farm to make money?
Yeah.
When it's about money.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's a lot of benefit. I mean, I'll set maybe my opinion there on money. I think there's a lot of good you can do, and that's what drives me to make more. Is I take the money, reinvest it into projects, to entrepreneurs that I believe in, who are providing impact and doing well for the earth and humanity. So I think there's things you can take them when the money is not driven for your own selfish gains of bigger houses and cars and all these consumer products. Then you can think of money as a power and energy too that you can use to create in this world, right? So money is important. I guess it's what you do with it, right?
Very important. No, I said money, as long as the money is part of your expression, of your essence, money is right. So you just explained how money should be used. If it is money,
that's how I express it. Yeah, that's how I express it. Yeah.
Then Michaell is expressing himself by helping humanity or supporting humane causes. But the problem is with nonprofits, that they are businesses. There is no such thing as a nonprofit. And they run like business. And when anything that's run by a business is run on faulty financial principles, outdated.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I still think the framework of a business still, it's set up to produce the objective, which is impact of what it provides. So I still think the system. I believe the system is important, and maybe.
No, very important. I'm not against system. Michaell, let's make that very clear. People think I'm against systems. I'm updating systems. I'm updating financial systems. Financial systems only punish. They never reward when you do everything. Why should you be punished when you're against it and not rewarded? Because balance in nature, I'm going again human-centrically, balance in nature is you climb a tree, you get an apple, it's yours. The effort to get the apple, it's yours.
Correct.
Today, that's not so thing. You do the stuff. You actually have to have a ladder first. You have to buy a ladder to get on the thing, to get the apple, and then you have to split the apple before you can take a bite.
True.
So
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, you're not rewarded. What if I look at you and say, Akil, you're a guy that has no tickets, car tickets. You're a guy that pays his taxes for 10 years. Why should I not reward you for being enough, for doing enough, and not saying, oh, I have 3-bedroom now, and I just made my first million. I have to go to a 5-bedroom house. I have to go because that's the culture. Because if I don't, I drive a Beamer, an old or a Toyota, and now I have to get. And everybody is adapting to each other, and because the system is set up that when you make $100 million, you have to first of all banks call you and say, "Come on, take a loan. Access is 40%. I think it's only 3. Give you a thing." That is furthered. That the making debt is furthered, and to be enough is not. And the result of that's why everything is faulty. That's the cancer of systemic. Of system relevance is it's never enough. You're not rewarding.
That's the clear point. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
and that is not the system's fault. That is the financial principles' fault. It's nobody's thing. Because look, if everybody, even the people that you say people's Federal Reserve and they are the bad one, the Rothschild, and bullshit. We made a mistake. We create a system that is not adapted to nature, where balance is the optimal. And sadly, all systems are based on financial principle. Religion, nonprofits, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do, because it's never enough. You have 1,000 parishioners, now you need 1,500 parishioners. It's always expanding, but it's not about expanding like physically. It's mentally expansion. And that's what you have with human-centricity. You always mentally expand. You get more clear. Oh my God, when I talk to Akil, I feel this way. Why? Why is this so good? Or why is it so bad? It doesn't matter. It's in both is a lesson. There is no fault. In nature, there is no mistake. It's only in system relevance is a mistake, because mistakes are so dreaded. And we create more because whatever you resist persists.
Right.
Everybody's afraid of losing. You make your $100,000 the first time, and at 100,000, whatever, for everybody is different. For 150,000, 1 and 500, you pivot to, oh my God, I'm freaking out. I'm losing the money. So you're freaking out not having the money, and then you pivot of losing it money. You're always in lack. You're never out of the lack curve. Nobody is. Yeah. Not Bezos, not Elon. And once we talk
you don't think so? You don't think they're in an abundant state?
No, not at all.
Interesting.
Not at, but why would they show off for Vogue and all that stuff? Why would they do that? Why would Elon buy the thing and be and acts like a little kid?
I think yeah. I mean, it's trying to, I see. I mean, it's a bit of marketing play, and
no, it's not marketing. Come on, he's shunned as the biggest loser, $40 billion loss on remarketing and all this stuff. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. It is what it is, but it isn't that this person seems to me balanced. And when you look at him, I look at him and it looks sick, So what I'm saying is, the more money, the more fame you have. And that's why we need to look at centralized with that lack. We know, because I think we could all get together and say, how can we do a financial principles that rewards enoughness? Because if we don't have balance in financial principles, this world is going to go to hell. But man-made. Yeah. There's nobody to blame. There's nobody the bad person or anything. It goes because nature is balanced. Everything you never have a crisis in nature, because it's constantly balancing and it never gets out of. But because of the false financial principle, we get out of balance so strong that sometimes we can't move back. And that's why you have suicides and whatever, because it's not feasible to do it anymore to get back. So we have a pivot point, and that's like a war, The war is never a human-centric issue. It is a system-relevant issue. That's a reset. Any crisis, anything is a reset, It's a reset to reset the thing to start from scratch and do the same thing again, which is the most point. That's why people are bored. Again,
I want to stop the episode here. Not because we're running out of close to time, but I also want to leave this as a cliffhanger for people who want to learn more about you. I mean, this is tons. It seems like you got a ton of good insights here. You have a ton to share, and I think there's more people can dive deeper into understanding your principles of what you're sharing and your story. So I want them to check out your podcast, check out your website to check out more about you. But I want to shift lastly here before we end it off. I'd like to go to the rapid fire questions, if that's okay, and that would give some people some more insights on how you think. So
we can do this again. I do 3 and 4 episodes with people. Don't worry. This was extremely good in business for business. I think what you and I did just is basically the breath of business, literally. But before every system relevant thing you do, this is the episode before you do any business.
I agree. This is the first episode. We should make this episode one. Yeah. Let's go back. You said you're in your 50s is kind of when you had this discovery of self-realization. What's one piece of advice, if you can go back that today and you would tell your younger self, let's say 25, 30-year-old, 35-year-old, Michael?
That I'm one of one, not like 8 million, 8 billion. I'm one of 8 billion, one unique one with a different perspective on life. And I would tell him 2 things. That is the first one, and the 2 thing is system relevance and human centricity. You are part of nature. You created systems. You cannot submit and sacrifice for systems. You can change systems. You can't change yourself, but you can change systems.
Love it. What does success mean to you today, Michael? Whether that's personally, business, financially, life. Obviously, there's no right answer here, but how do you define it today?
It's a feedback loop, like an emotion, like fulfillment. If I'm chasing fulfillment, not success, and when you chase fulfillment, the success triples in. It's like for example, I didn't know how this podcast was, and for me, this is priceless. What you and I created right now, that's priceless. You can look at it from another perspective, but there's no money. But then you destroy your essence. That's what artists do. They have the magical experience of creating, and then because they don't sell it or don't get the money they wanted, they negate their experience, their magical experience.
Interesting. It's interesting, how the money poisons the art.
The system relevant success that poisons everything because it's never enough.
Yeah, good point. Michael, this has been fantastic. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people listening in love this episode. So if you guys want to, learn more about Michael and what he's working on, where is the best place to get in touch with you for any founders who want to know about you and your company and what you're working on?
Simple, Human-Centric, one hub, Michael with 2 L's, m.com, michaelm.com. And that's it. That's the LinkedIn. You get everything. You can hire me, contact me, play with me, look at my art, look at my songs. Enjoy my essence. I am who I am.
Love it. That's awesome. Thank you very, very much, Michael. Appreciated this, and I really enjoyed this as well. I'm sure you did as well.
Yes.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you all for watching this episode and joining SaaS District today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for future episodes where we interview top leaders in the SaaS industry. If you're a SaaS company looking to grow and unlock the true value of your business, get in touch with us at Horizon Capital, and myself or one of our consultants will provide a free assessment to help you get there and hit your goals. If you have any feedback or suggestions for this podcast, please comment down below and help us improve our content for you all. Thanks again, and see you on the next one.